3,800.
3,800. And how often do you get like book a call, would you say, from YouTube?
It's like per day, maybe like 5 or 6. I'm not sure, something like this.
Now, guys, this is way overdue. Welcome to the Conscious AI Collective. Come for the AI and stay for the personal development. Today, I've got Jannis Moore. This guy is incredible when it comes to AI. Yes, he's a wizard at getting clients when it comes to AI. He built his business. He has a YouTube account, and he's like raking in money and clients, right? So you can learn a thing or two. But on the personal development side, he's traveled the world. He's got businesses all over. He's got residencies all over. So you're going to learn a thing or two when it comes to health, wealth, love, and happiness. So stay tuned and see you in this one. Jannis, what's up, bro?
What's up? Thanks for having me.
So we're here. We're in Dubai, man. Like, and you've been here for a while, right?
Yeah. It's the city. I've been here for 7 years, on and off, coming and going.
You like the desert or what?
It's like, the heat is crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
You get used to it, but it's definitely something special.
I mean, you're like from the north too, bro. You're from Germany and you just came down here. But what brought you here? Like, why Dubai?
The simplicity, flexibility, and I'd also say the not having the need for bureaucracy in the first place. I mean, now it's slowly coming as well, like in mostly any state, but back then it was like you can set up a company here. You don't even need to do any accounting if you don't want to, right? And I'm from Germany originally, so for me the bureaucracy was always a big thing because it robbed my time. Literally, like I spent a month or two just dealing with bills, etc., writing stuff, doing the tax forms, etc., and it was just too much. So I valued my time more, so that's why I found out, okay, Dubai is awesome. They don't require that, and it's fairly simple to do. And then I just decided to move out here.
So you would say like the biggest difference between here and Dubai is like they're friendly when it comes to business owners, like, or?
You mean from Germany to Dubai?
Yeah, like compared to where you were before, like the bureaucracy there and like you just operating your business, right? Like you feel like you can just do it and flow here.
Completely, yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
Dope. And you're wearing the Whoop too, first of all.
Yeah.
Like, so I like your band, bro.
yeah, I just changed it today. I mean, Whoop is awesome, you know. I would have never known it if I would have not been in Dubai. Because like most people that are into the health, fitness stuff, it's like an insider thing. It was an insider thing like a year ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's exactly why I'm here, right? Because now you meet amazing people here. People that are like-minded, that have their own business, that are entrepreneurial. They are more maybe libertarian about freedom, and it's just the place to be. Yeah,
bro, it's interesting too because like I feel like this is my first time in Dubai, and I've always thought Dubai of being this like super flashy place, and it's like a whole bunch of fake people with fake sky and importing the rain and stuff like that. I had these like beliefs, right? And of course you've got that side of the city, just like you've got it in a lot of cities like Miami and stuff. But I think what I love about Dubai is there's so many people to network with at any time. Like, bro, you've got so many people doing shit from all over the world, and you know, I feel like if you're not really doing something in Dubai, you can't really survive here because like even here on the marina, all this shit is expensive. Like it's so many places, but they're all expensive. So I'm like, all right, if you're a type of person that lives out here, you probably have a business or you're doing something or have some type of success. So yeah, I think that when people ask me, I'm like, it's a great place to network and do business, and they make it friendly for you to do business. So yeah, bro, I see how like why you basically went that route, staying here, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly like you described. You have the negative sides as well, the positive ones, and I just see over those years now that it becomes just like the craziest hotspot, I'd say, that is out there, right? I think Dubai was one of the most visited places in the world this last year, and if you compare that to, let's say, 6 years ago, we had in Ramadan times here, we had like barriers in between the restaurants so that only tourists can go in or white people. So it's kind of like separated in a certain way, and it all opened up. Now you can just go eat anywhere in Ramadan, which is crazy. So you just see they're moving it already towards the I would say more westernized world and try to attract more people, which I think they managed super amazing.
That's sick. And how do you feel like, okay, so first of all, like we know each other through the mafia, the AI mafia, which a lot of people will find out about pretty soon, right? But like, so you're in the AI space. Do you feel like you connect or collab with other people in the space here?
Yeah, I'd say I first found out about the AI automation space apart from what I was doing through Liam. And Liam I just found through another friend of mine that lives here. So I would say yeah, in some way. Not directly, Because I'm not sure, maybe we AI guys are a little special and we try to separate ourselves and live in our own circles. But yeah, it's definitely a place where you can find mostly anything if you just look for, right?
Okay. Yeah, man. And like, so for you, what have you been working on in the AI space and specifically? Like, I know you've been working on the voice side of things, right? Like, I don't focus too heavy on the voice, but I know you do. Like, what's been your lane and what are you focusing on now?
Yeah. Okay, so I started as a web developer around 9 years ago, and basically created websites for enterprises, for small businesses, etc. And then at some point realized the need of actually having something that you can automate certain tasks online with by just allowing other services to speak with each other, right? And usually you need some kind of connection in between, and that wasn't existent back then. So what I basically did is I built a software that allows you to connect services together so that they can talk to each other, so that you don't have to manually, right? And I built it internally for myself, for my own processes and workflows, and then realized, oh yeah, there's actually people that also look for something like that. And I remember back then, I think I posted it on Product Hunt, and it got, I think, first or second product of the day, I'm not exactly sure anymore, and just massive feedback on that, which was awesome. And then I decided, okay, yeah, let's just publish that, let's make it open, and people started buying it. And I was just sitting there like, whoa, okay, yeah, this might be a thing, We can switch away from the whole web design stuff and we can go towards selling software. Though I had no freaking idea how to do that. So it was like a massive learning curve. And that's how I basically started with this whole workflow automation thing. If you're probably familiar with make.com or Zapier. Yeah. So we basically built something like that, but for the WordPress space. And I think up until now it has around 20,000 active users. And I did an exit on that last year. And that is basically how I started with that whole AI stuff. Because in that automation software, I basically integrated OpenAI, any other LLMs and other AI services to basically allow people that were already using our software to leverage that features to connect more things together. And that was basically like my starting point with AI, right? And then obviously the last years were just crazy and I saw, wow, there's even more potential than that. And my platform felt a little bit limiting. So it was not exactly what I was trying to pursue. Yeah. And yeah, thanks to this whole AI game, I just decided, okay, yeah, let's just sell the thing, take in some equity, still making strategy. I mean, it was my baby. Right. But yeah, now just going full on agency stuff and starting a new SaaS tool in the AI space.
Wow. So you like went from web developing straight to AI, like pretty much, right? Was it like, did you ever jump in like crypto or any other technology, or you just went?
Yeah, I mean, I did that as well, but it's side things, right? I was never really a day trader or something like that. I just invested and I left it there. I mean, like probably anyone who was in crypto losing tons of money and gaining tons of money is somewhere always in the middle, yeah.
Okay, and like, what's the purpose, right? So I always ask people, like, what's the purpose of you doing the thing that you do, right? Because like, there's always, when you watch podcasts, it's like people that always talk about like how they made all this money, and then you're like, oh my gosh, like how did they do it? And then you feel like you learned something, but you can't really learn too much from that person until you really find out why they did the thing they did, So yeah, I really want to just ask, like, what was the purpose of you doing this? Like, what was the purpose of you creating this AI company in the first place? Was it because you're just obsessed with AI, or you're obsessed with like building automations? Like, what do you think the driving factor is behind it?
Yeah, I think innovating stuff. I just love innovating stuff, right? If you can connect things together and they work automatically without you doing anything, that's just freaking awesome to look at that, right? And I think this was always a thing for me. I loved coding. I still love coding. Right now I don't have much of the time, but if I have the choice, I'm still preferring to just code something, right? It's just so awesome to build something from scratch and see it having an actual impact in the world. So that was like a motivating factor for me. And that's also why I decided to go into the AI space, because it's just like the latest technologies, and I see, whoa, there's so many things that I can learn and just adapt and put into my business and create new solutions. It was just the best place to be, and that's basically how I started out.
Wow. So you like always loved to automate things. Like, so were you like lazy in school or something when you were growing up? Like, you know what I mean?
Probably. I mean, I was not the best for sure. Yeah. I was okay in school. It was not really something that interested me much, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you have more free time, you can focus on things that you actually like. Yeah. So I was always pivoting towards doing, even if I don't like it, what brings me to my final goal, right? So, and it's always a learning curve. I mean, in any kind of business, you have something that is awesome and that is not awesome. So you're basically the person who can decide what to choose. So I choose the route that suits me the most in the long term, which is exactly what I'm doing right now, right?
Yeah, sick, man. Like I was a terrible, like I always wanted to code, right? Like I wanted to code. I never like was, I guess, disciplined enough when I was younger to just sit down and learn how to code. Like I learned the basics of Python, you know, but like I really wanted to dive into it. Was it like, did you go to school for this, or like did you learn from YouTube University? Like how did you really get into it?
Yeah, it's a good point. I did an apprenticeship as an IT engineer for system integration. I think that's probably the right term, which basically is nothing else than repairing computers, repairing printers, sitting on the phone hotline and asking, yeah, did you turn off your computer? And on? It's hilarious. But in school, we learned a little bit about programming or HTML stuff, like the very, very basics of script language, of programming, etc. But it was definitely not enough. So that's basically when I saw, though, okay, yeah, you can actually do cool stuff with code, and I enjoyed that in some way. So I started doing that stuff by the side. And while I was doing the apprenticeship, I basically tried to find my first clients that basically just need some help on the side so that I can learn from him. And yeah, that's how I slowly switched into that, or moved into that.
And like, do you recommend people learn how to code, first of all? Like, let's just say, for people at home now.
Depends fully on their goal.
Okay.
It's definitely awesome if you have an understanding of it. So in general, I'm a big fan of just educating yourself broadly and then niching down to one thing. That has a bigger impact in general, and you will have just that overall knowledge that you need to actually build something crazy good, right? If I, for example, if I wouldn't know how to code, I wouldn't know what I would need to tell my dev team or anyone that works under me, because I have that idea, you know, I build a software, okay, you know how to connect those and those parts together, that it works. They often don't have that. A lot of people, they just want to build something, and you give them the instructions for it. The creativity part is usually something that is very complex to grasp for most people. And I would say if you have that overall picture, and then you niche down to one thing, it helps you immensely, because you see opportunities better, and you can evaluate them better as well. So if I would break that down to coding, if you love it, awesome. The basics, definitely recommend it, 100%. You don't need to be an expert. If you really like it, go for it and go full in. Otherwise, you still gain the whole knowledge and you get a better understanding of what actually happens behind the scenes, which again helps you also to not get scammed in case you hire some developers later, because you have a better picture of how much you would charge, etc. Yeah.
And then like being in the AI space too, I guess the backpack off of being a coder and in the AI space, for someone that is, I don't know, young and they're trying to get into becoming an entrepreneur, right? Like, what do you think they should focus on when it comes to the AI space, or when it comes to the technology space in general? Like, what do you see that's working in the space, right? Because I've got so many kids in my community that are trying different types of tools or different types of things, but they feel like they don't know how to find their niche when it comes to AI. Yeah. Like, is there anything in particular that you see that is a huge opportunity?
Yeah, I'd see anything that you can connect to a physical business, maybe, or brick and mortar stuff. That will always be around, right? We have it in the AI voice space now, for example, that if we are building, let's say, voice AI agents for restaurants or real estate businesses, right? We are connecting something digital to an actual physical business. And I know that those physical businesses will be around. They have been around for centuries, and they still will be around. So if you chose those niches, you most likely build something up that is definitely helpful. And the good thing is, because you build something up that already has substance over such a long period of time, even if the technology switches, you can still just adapt. You can learn something new, and you can upsell them on that offer to just implement something new. So you're never left out. You will always have a base market that you can start with, right? Yeah, I think this is a very big thing. And I've seen the same. We often have clients that say, yeah, we would like to have that, but if you try to scope it out, they have no idea exactly what they actually want. And I think this all comes down that in the space we are right now with AI, we have so many new tools coming out every week that people just don't know what to choose. They say, oh yeah, this is similar to that one, but is it the same? They don't know. They learn one, then they switch to the other. But in the end, it doesn't matter. Like especially from a technical perspective, you often get lost in the detail, which is what you should not do in the AI space in the first place. I believe it's always super important to have the big picture. Like, what do we want to achieve? If you have that in front, I promise you the backend technology barely matters in the beginning. Not at all. People want a solution that works, right? And if you achieve exactly what they want, or even beyond that, in whatever way it is, it can be completely crappy. If it works, they will be more satisfied than if you build something from scratch, take a long time, and they jump off or whatsoever. So especially in the beginning, it's better to just focus on a goal, whatever you want to build. You build it out in whatever way possible, make them happy, and then along the way, you already have clients, and you can actually figure out what workflows you can optimize while building those things. And that is then the cool thing when you switch little AI parts through different services, and you allow those services to take over, and then again you start the whole process again. It's basically like a continuous optimization, I would say.
Yeah, and then like for businesses, right? Like, so we talked about how people can basically capitalize on businesses using AI because they need it. Yeah. But like, why do you think the businesses need it in the first place? Because there's a lot of people that are in the business space, or they have like a SaaS company, or they have any type of, even a brick and mortar company, right? Like, why do you think it's important for them to use AI?
Because in the future they won't have the same kind of work they have right now anymore, for sure. It's gonna come in one way or the other. So if they start educating now and they don't need to understand it, they just need to grasp it and know it's around, then they at least get a feeling for that there's something else to come.
Do you think that's because everything's moving faster? Like, what do you think it is? Like, why do they need it in the future?
Yeah, things are moving faster. Obviously, I think there's I think SaaS tools created on such a time schedule right now that you can barely follow up. I can barely follow up myself. I'm educating myself every day with those tools, etc. And for me, it's even hard to keep up what is actually out there, what new tools are released, etc. So if it's already hard for me, who's in the industry, you can imagine how hard it is for other people. And especially when a lot of people, they don't understand how critical it actually is to implement AI. Like, not at all. They don't even know that it really exists. They know, there's AI around, but what is it? They don't know. I know this because we did a couple of outbound campaigns. And if you keep it technical or about AI, they don't even respond. We barely get any response rates. And I think it is just for the reason because they don't even know what that should do for them, They don't even see the benefits whatsoever because they don't even understand the concept of AI. So that is something really interesting. And I think a lot of restaurants and businesses in general are gonna have big consequences if they're not gonna follow up on the trend.
And what do you think like some of those consequences are? Like just one, for example.
I'd say layoffs or being behind the market. I would say a restaurant that implements voice AI, for example, or any kind of AI workflows, they're gonna be thriving a lot more in the long term because it's like the small nuances they optimize. That again gives them more leverage at the long term because they have more free time that they can work on actually optimizing their offers, right? And the more manual stuff you can automate, the more time you have for something else, which is then probably scaling your business if you want that, right? And obviously, if someone is ahead of the curve, he's gonna be always at the top.
Yeah, I see it so much, bro. Like things are moving so fast. Like literally every day, I get more mind blown when it comes to AI. Like. It was funny because the other day I just purchased these things called like time kettles. They're like these headphones you put in and you can like translate language in real time, right? Yeah, but then my boy RP, I was just talking to the other day and he was saying that like now Apple's probably going to come out with that next month. So where like the next AirPods that come out will probably be able to do that. Yeah. So like we'll be talking and who wouldn't do that, right? Like who wouldn't use that feature especially? Yeah. So I think that can just take so many businesses they run so many businesses out of business, right? It's just like from implementing something like that. And I think that companies that don't really adapt to the AI wave, they're just almost like ghost, Yeah, so I think that definitely the technology that's coming out in the space keeps coming so fast and it's just so mind-blowing, and yeah. Yeah,
I think especially like with the whole voice provider or like the SaaS provider thing, I think it's a very interesting point to catch up on because obviously, if you're a brick and mortar business or like a physical business, you always can optimize whatever you implement, right? But your core business is still there. If you jump in the AI space, for example, and you build a product on top of it, it's most likely it's going to be ruled out in like half a year, let's say. And this is even optimistic.
Freaking half a week now at this point.
Exactly. So I think if you connect it to something else and you still start a product in the AI space that serves a specific purpose that is apart from what AI does, you might still have a good chance of winning, but that's just something really important to keep in mind.
Yeah, man. I had a meeting too right before I came here to Dubai with one of my buddies, and he's a very knowledgeable dude, a wealthy guy. Like he's built multiple businesses, and we just sit down and like he didn't even know what Notion was first of all because he wasn't even like at that point, And then we started to go deeper and deeper into like what he can be using in his company. Then I started telling him about like CRMs and how powerful these CRMs are, like how you can just like automate every single DM when someone DMs you, or you can automate every single message to just lead them to your funnel funnel, and then you can, automate your sales, right? And then you can even put like voice in there and ChatGPT. So it's like not even a human doing sales anymore. You don't need like tons of appointment setters anymore, right? And he was like so mind blown, but I was almost so mind blown that he had no clue about this.
Exactly, yeah. This is what we see all the time, right? People don't understand that. And I mean, we're seeing now on social media, you probably even more than me, because I'm like not so much in the Instagram/TikTok space, etc. People, you see these clips coming up about, yeah, you need to look into AI. It's gonna kill your jobs whatsoever. And I think slowly, I think over the next year, we're probably gonna see a big increase in that for sure.
Yeah, bro. But like, how do you think that AI is gonna integrate into everybody's future? Like, just your perspective.
There are tons of ways. Obviously, it depends on what angle you look at. I would say even in a business that you don't think can be automated, you can still do productivity tasks, right? Which is how you basically manage your very own work. That even means like setting up a calendar that just optimizes your schedule, or whenever you get calls, like even in a plumbing business, for example, you still take calls, right? You can just automate them. If that is worthy right now, obviously it depends on how good your business is and how successful. But there's always something that you can automate and optimize.
Yeah, I use like Sunsama for my schedule and everything like that, and I can't wait for Google Calendar to just like implement that to where it's like super easy to just drop stuff. But I know that they'll do it too, so I can see that like going in everybody's life too, and especially like Apple, right? Like everybody's using iPhones and stuff like that. I know that they're gonna put like Siri GPT or whatever you want to call it, and then it's gonna be freaking crazy, right? And take so many of those things, like take so many of the big AI companies out of business, and then also like everybody won't even notice they're using it too. Like,
yeah, that has been already the thing for like 10 years, let's say, or even longer. If you know about Google Images, when you were searching for something, Google has been using algorithms for ages to just show you the right images that probably fit you. That was even before anyone knew that this was AI, right?
And is it like do you have like favorite AI tools? Like, do you have like a top 3? Like, what would be the top tools that you use right now that come to your mind on a day-to-day basis? Like, or
obviously OpenAI. We're working a lot with it, mostly anyway, with the API and with ChatGPT. Vapi, since it's one of our core businesses, basically building those AI voice agents, etc. And lastly, I'd say make.com, which is not necessarily an AI tool, but a workflow automation tool, right? But it is just so versatile, and I've been using it for such a long time that I can say, yeah, this is probably one of my biggest time savers, because the workflows you can build with it are just incredible.
Yeah, so you like to use that over like Zapier, or it's just like more?
Yeah, I like make.com a lot more than Zapier. I was working with Zapier, and I still sometimes do, because they have a certain set of integrations that are not available with make.com. But apart from that, it is probably, if it comes to no-code tools, one of the best ones.
And for example, like, what are some of these integrations that you do? Like, for somebody that doesn't know what make.com is, like, what's something that you, like, some type of workflow that you've automated, for example?
Yeah, we did it, for example, for webshop. For webshop orders, let's say when a new order comes into your webshop, this one can automatically be booked directly into your accounting system, as an example. So you can have a direct connection to QuickBooks, even through your webshop or your payment provider, whatever suits you the best. And you don't need to do those things manually anymore. Like, that's a very simple workflow. I was trying a video on creating a fully automated Etsy store, which I haven't put out yet for reasons, but basically I built a whole workflow that allows you to just ideate a product. You just say what you would like to have. It's for images. So you just say, yeah, I'd like to have, I don't know, a forest with mountains whatsoever. And it creates that actual product for you, uploads it to Etsy, creates all of the marketing pictures, the SEO optimizations, etc., and basically sells it for you so that you don't need to do anything.
Yeah, dude, first, that's freaking nuts, first of all, bro. And that's like basically what I focus on with Circle. Like, I just show people that, okay, this is someone's funnel, and then we use AI to show people the funnel that, let's just say, this influencer's using to make $20,000 a month, and then we can just use AI to just automate every single process. So it's like unreal how it's like a, I don't even know how to explain it. It's a computer, but a computer that lets you like automate things and basically just replaces an assistant, right? Like, yeah, so it's just nuts, bro. And I think that, if someone is trying to get into the AI space, first of all, they should watch your videos too. And another question I want to ask you is, like, do you think that people, like a beginner, can use something like Vapi? or do you think it's like maybe too advanced, or what do you think, just from your perspective?
Yeah, okay. From my perspective, I would say definitely. But it might be also that I'm biased because I'm pretty advanced with all of that stuff. So for me, things that look very obvious aren't obvious for others. However, on my YouTube channel, I try to break the stuff down as simple as possible. Yeah. So that it's literally, okay, you log into this account, you upload this file, you install it, you connect it to your Google Calendar, and that's it. So if you're able or capable of following instructions, you're still able to manage something like that, even without any kind of technical knowledge, right? And if anyone uses Instagram, it's mainly just understanding the workflow. And when you understand the workflow, you know that you can most likely build it out in any kind of no-code. So you don't need any coding knowledge in the first place. And from a technical perspective, if you just sit down for like an hour, it's probably already enough. You have YouTube, you have anything. You can research whatever you want. You can ask ChatGPT. It can basically kind of build the workflow instructions for you, and you just follow what ChatGPT says. And you have a 90% chance probably that it's going to work out.
And what do you think your superpower is in the AI space, for example? Like, what do you think that sets you apart from the other dudes in the space? Like, for example, for me, I think my superpower is just like my ability to just simplify it, right? Like, I'll see something super duper complex, like something, I don't know, let me throw like Leonardo Labs or something, right? And it'll be some tool that, you know, can make sophisticated AI stuff, and people are like, oh my gosh, like, how do you make those images? And then I just break it down and say like, yo, if you want to make your cartoons in your head come to life, use Leonardo Labs, right? Yeah. So yeah, I think that's my superpower. What would you say yours is?
I love it. I mean, for me, it's probably just digging deep. I say it sounds weird, but digging deep into the tools. If I'm trying to understand something, I want it to understand. If I want to implement it, I need to have a full understanding of it. That's why I have like a lot of deep knowledge in a lot of different topics, which then just help me again to explain it in a more simple way. Because I think this is the key point, right? If you want to explain something simple, you need to fully understand it. Yeah. Otherwise, it's super hard. And I think that's one of my superpowers, just really digging deep, understanding the internal processes and how stuff works behind the scenes, so that I can build something meaningful on it and maybe even can teach someone else to do this.
And where does that come from? Like, is it like your parents were like that or something? Or
I just love it. I don't think it comes from anywhere. I just love doing that.
Just like love digging deep.
Yeah, just if you can build out stuff, like you mentioned, if you can build out stuff, you can build something from ground and you see it has an actual impact. It's just awesome. It's just so fulfilling. And I think that is one of the big things that actually thrives me in that whole space, because since there's so many new things coming out, you even see patterns, right? If we talk about VAPI, we talk about SynthFlow, Blend AI, Vocode, all of those tools are basically what they call telecommunication voice AI services or infrastructures. And if you understand one, it is most likely you understand the other. It's like if you speak a language. The more languages you speak, the easier it is to learn a new one. It's the exact same principle. So you see the patterns in mostly anything. So if you dig deep, you get new levels of digging deep.
Yeah.
As weird as it sounds.
And like, what's some challenges you face when you were like, I don't know, digging deep into these AI tools? Like, for example, because I know you are a business owner, you've built multiple businesses now. Like, what's something that you keep running into, or what's something that maybe you overcame, when it comes to the space?
The thing is, there are no real standards in the AI space or in the automation space / web space. The problem is everyone has their very own understanding of what an API should look like, for example, which is nothing else than the connector that allows you to put services together. And one authenticates with that, the other one wants to have it in this way, and some don't even have a proper documentation, maybe because they just released a new product, which might be also the reason. But I found this is one of the most challenging parts, to putting them all together so that they work, and also consistently. Right? If you build a tool, it is most likely that at some point, it's going to break somewhere, because one of those companies that you integrate with changes something in the way they want to get the data or sending the information, and then it's not working out anymore. So I say this is one of the hardest things to tackle, but I'm pretty sure with the right tools and the right AI stuff, we're probably going to be there, that maybe even AI takes care of validating those informations for us.
Yeah, damn. And wow, so first of all, that makes sense, like, because things keep changing, especially in like make.com and stuff like that. But you probably get like alerts and stuff. I know I get like my Zapier alerts and stuff. And it's crazy because like I haven't dug that deep into it, but like this little stuff that I did, like design my schedule by using like a timer for toggle, and I like connect my toggle to my calendar and stuff like that, so I don't actually have to manually input things, right?
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, bro. It's like so many little use cases how you can just like work everything into your life,
Exactly.
Yeah, bro. Like,
yeah, and that's the best, because you just create an automation, right? If you log into your Maker account, you can create thousands of automations. It's up to you. You can choose what you want to automate. If there's stuff you like to do, don't automate it. But otherwise, you can just do whatever you want and just automate all of those tools together.
Yeah, bro. It's automation world. And like, what do you think is next? Especially, what do you think is next in the space, and what's next for you too? Like, is there anything you're working on in the back end that you think that like is going to be huge or revolutionary?
Yeah, I mean, I'm building out a SaaS tool in the hospitality industry. That's going to be really big, and this is where I'm dedicating a lot of my time if I'm not making content or working in the agency part. And I'm just very sure that voice AI is going to pop up even more. I mean, we are now at the beginnings and we're seeing more human-like conversations, but I'm pretty sure at some point we're going to be there that you can barely differentiate between what is a human and what not. So I'd say even at that point right now, if you're not in the industry, it is most likely that you cannot really differentiate anymore if it's an AI assistant or not. So in the future, this is going to be just a lot more smooth, right? And you can actually have proper deep conversations and just have like a virtual assistant that can do all of your stuff while you just talk to it. So I think there's tons of potential in that. Yeah, it's freaky, true, but it's gonna help us out a lot on the long term.
Yeah, man. I was on the plane here, like, and then the flight attendant, she thought that I was famous. She was like, "Yo, you look like that guy, Lewis Hamilton, you know, the freaking F1 driver." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." But basically, she was like, we started talking, and she was telling me how like she loves her job, but she's trying to learn how to code. But then she started telling me like how the AI is freaking her out because what if someone tries to pretend to be like her uncle or something like that, and then she gives information to them and gives her passwords or something like that. So it's always like people are super fearful of AI. And then I just basically told her like, I mean, of course there's a negative side to it, but there's always a positive side to it. But like, how do you respond to people that are like super duper scared of AI when it comes to, and it might be holding them back because they won't use it in their business because they're scared of using it? Like, is there any clients you've had in the past like that, or any advice you give to people?
I would say not really clients. I'd say the clients that come to us, they already know that AI is super powerful and they'd like to implement it in some way or the other. For them, it's more about concerns of security, where the data is stored, how it is actually managed, etc. But if it comes to situations like with your flight attendant, I think it's just important to make them aware that they can see like little nuances that might be indicative that it's AI. If you have a number, if your mom has a number or your dad has a specific number, you probably have saved it in your phone, right? If someone from a different number calls you and sounds like your uncle, that's already suspicious in a certain way. So I'd say it's just calming them down and telling them, yeah, okay, look, these things are out there, but if you just look at what is actually there and maybe getting a bit of a small, like even not much, but a little technical understanding, you figure out that this is a scam or whatsoever.
Yeah, man. And I think another question I had was like, because I love to know, first of all, because I've got so many different AI recommendations for people, but like, is there something that you think everybody should almost know about or implement other than like ChatGPT, for example? Like, is there any other tool or any other thing that you're like, wow, like if someone was using this, it probably would make their life better?
I'd say if it's the biggest one, is probably still make.com. I think everyone should understand workflow automation. If you don't know what workflow automation is, that's where you should start. Because this is just like the most powerful one. If you just master the understanding of workflow automation and you know how you can connect different tools together, the world is open to you. You can automate so many things in your life. Obviously, there are apps or superhuman for emails, etc., right, that are awesome for doing stuff. But again, this I think depends on specific use cases. Some maybe get like an email a day or two. For them, superhuman probably doesn't really make sense. Yeah. But if you have make.com, it's like a pay as you go plan. So you pay a very little amount for having access to all of the other tools available that you can just connect together. So if you're doing anything in the online space, either for business or private, where you see, Make has an integration for it, you can just automate that. And I think by just understanding that, you have massive amounts of possibilities that you can use.
That's dope, dude. And I noticed you've probably seen it like advance a lot too. Is there anywhere you can see it going further than where it is now? Like when it comes to Make, for example?
Yeah, I mean, you see that they're always bringing in new integrations. They're trying to make the platform smarter. Yeah. There's only so much that you can do in the sense of what you would like to bring on. That's what I see with Zapier, because Zapier releases different kind of products in the AI or automation space, like Zapier Central, which is also something where you can kind of visually build these workflows and just connect services together and have them more conversational. But if it comes to workflow automation, it's mostly the same. It is, you have a trigger, something happens, and then after you want to do this, this, and this, and this. This is literally like the main concept behind it. And there's not much more to it. What they do is obviously to make it more reliable. So if something breaks, the way you basically pick it up from there, or how you handle it when something breaks in the first place, right. There are many ways to that. So I think this is where it gets interesting, because they optimize those nuances, which I think are super important, to just have a product that is incredibly solid. And yeah, this is where Make thrives, in my opinion, before Zapier.
And like, also, and this is like a little off topic, but like, is there anything you live by, like any quote you live by, or anything that keeps you going? For example, like, because you're always on this road of like automation or innovation, or keep driving forward. Is there a reason, or is there something behind your beliefs? Like, for example, like I was in the gym, and this is a dude that I go to the gym with. His name's Angel. Shout out to Angel in Cape Town. But this dude's a freaking beast. Like, for example, he works 3 weeks straight, and then he takes a week off, like every single week. 3 weeks straight, week off. 3 weeks straight, week off. But he always talks about like how he believes that you have to like stay in this flow with life. Like, for example, because we're not a machine. We don't just like keep going. We need to like recharge our batteries, right?
Exactly. You need to find a balance.
You gotta find a balance, bro.
It's always a thing. I mean, it's the same way I moved out to Dubai, right? Because I was feeling with too much pressure in Germany, taking care of all of those bureaucracies and little nuances. Here, I don't have that, so I chose freedom. And that is usually something I try to really understand deeply and implement in my life in whatever way possible. That also means being maybe more libertarian and just open to actually making an own picture of how the world actually is. Yeah. So I've been in crazy countries like Afghanistan because I wanted to see how it is there, right?
Oh yeah, we need to talk about that, bro.
Yeah, so I just like to make a picture by myself of how a country looks like, what it feels to be there, how actually the people are there. And because media you cannot really trust, even if you look on the government websites, they recommend you not to go to those places because they're dangerous whatsoever. Yeah, but look at Germany right now, it's crazy dangerous. Look at Europe right now, it's crazy dangerous, right? So for me, understanding the world is one of the most incredible things, because you got to choose where you want to spend your time and how you want to use the time, right? So I like to program, that's one big part. I love to do that, but I can do that from anywhere. So why not use the possibility and find other places that really attract my interest and just leverage that to just become smarter and more knowledgeable.
So you would say like that traveling is some huge part of your life, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, where's some, okay, other than Afghanistan, or maybe Afghanistan, first of all, let's talk about it, because most people would think that just like Afghanistan is super dangerous, Taliban and everything. Like, what was your experience when you were there? And like, where else do you want to go? I know we were kind of talking about another destination.
Yeah, I mean, Afghanistan, the time I was there is probably not the best time to be there, because I was there when they removed the US troops. So while I was flying there, they already moved the troops from Kandahar, like in the south. But the northern ones were still there. So it was a bit of a tension. But so we didn't have much interaction with the Taliban back then. You drive by the borders because they're all kind of separated, right? So if you drive through a certain border, they still check your passports, etc. That is still there. But apart from that, I really had no negative situations or nothing bad in the whole time I have been there. And we were making road trips as well, from Kabul to Mazar-e Sharif in the mountains to the Lapis Lazuli Lake, and we were staying in the mountains, and it was super peaceful. I barely have seen a place with more friendly people or welcoming people than there.
So it's crazy, bro. So you're like traveling and you feel like AI, of course you're interested in AI like me too, but I literally use AI as the way for me to travel, like, because I'm super obsessed with AI, and that's what I was doing even before, like, you know, when I wasn't working, before I was like researching new technology and stuff like that. Then I just started talking about it because I was already just interested in it and just sharing it. And then all of a sudden it just integrated into my life. And now that's what I do, right? I just tell people about how to use AI and stuff. And it helps me go to the next place and travel and stuff like that. But
so you use it for flight optimization as well?
Everything, bro. Like anything that I'm about to do, or I think like, this is annoying. The first thing that I do is try to find an AI tool that solves the problem, right? Yeah. Like, even if I'm looking for something online and I can't find it, I'm like, all right, there's got to be a better way to find what I'm looking for, you know?
Exactly, this is, I think, what you need to do to people. Just Google something. I have so many times that they ask, how can I do this? This doesn't work. Just Google it. Just drop it in ChatGPT. Just ask it a question. You will get tons of answers for it, right? Awesome. I love this.
Yeah,
This is really
man.
cool.
Yeah, and traveling is huge, bro. Like I think that for me, that's one thing that really that motivates me with everything that I do, because I feel like traveling got me out of the situation that I was in when I was younger. Like I was a kid, grew up in America, like grew up in like Detroit, Michigan area. It was rougher. But then when I started to travel, I was like, oh, this shit's dope. Like I could go anywhere in the world. Amsterdam was my first location, and it really blew my mind, you know? It opened me up to seeing the world literally in a different way, to not, you know, like seeing it through the lens of how everybody else sees it. Is there any place that kind of you feel like really had an impact in your life majorly, like anywhere in the world?
Yeah, many places, honestly. They all have their very own stories, I'd say. But one big one for me is Montenegro. It's crazily beautiful if it comes to the nature. But it gave me an understanding that it sounds weird in the beginning, but people don't need to smile to be friendly. And I think this has something to do with the Eastern culture as well. So they have a more serious face expression. They don't smile like maybe if you go to some other kind of country. But they're genuine, and once you start talking to them in whatever way, they're incredibly friendly. They invite you to their homes, give you food, let you stay there, help you out if you have another problem. And just from the first perspective of looking at the people, you think like, oh wow, okay, yeah, maybe they want distance.
Right.
So that was really, really hard in the beginning, but once I have been there and I started talking to people, you can see that they just open up. And I think that was for me a very big thing, because it just tells me more about yourself and the confidence you have, right? If you look at people and they are mad at you and you have no full confidence, you maybe like step back a little bit and think, okay, whatsoever. But if you understand that they're actually friendly people and you put that in your mind, you don't even see that there's a problem anymore, right? So it opens your doors to even talk to people that maybe look serious, where you would usually not have talked to, because you have no bad feeling in the back. So this is one thing that I learned through the Montenegrin culture, which I think was really awesome.
It's almost like not judging a book by its cover, right? Basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, like this dude's like me mugging you. It looks like he's gonna kill you or some shit. You go up to him, hey bro, what's up, man? Yeah.
And this worked out most of the time. I have done this in so many different countries. And I mean, Balkan, obviously, it's always the same. You can go wherever you want, but that was a big thing for me that I learned down there. I think it would be interesting to understand a bit more about your travel experiences.
But yeah, Amsterdam. Fucking crazy, man. Literally went there for the first time when I was 16. Didn't tell my parents. It was nuts. But basically, I flew to the airport, and then the moment I got at the airport, we like land, and I kind of can see outside a little bit, but you know you can't really see anything, but just like farmland. And then, yeah, bro, like I took the train to Dam Station in Central Station. I literally come up the escalator from Central Station, and then all I see is just like people on bikes, like huge white people on bikes, and like freaking these like tram things flying around, bro. And I was just mind blown, because like all I seen in America was just like, I don't know, black and white people. Sometimes you'll see maybe an Arab, you know, and where I was from, I didn't see many Mexicans and stuff like that.
Mostly cars, right? I've heard they just drive for 5 minutes to the supermarket.
Literally, that's it. We got trucks where I'm from. It's just like Ford trucks. If you used to drive a Toyota or something that wasn't from America, they would like key your car or mess it up. Like super pro America where I'm from, dude. Yeah, man. So like it was insane to me to just see that. And people around me would always tell me like, you know, oh, Europe's this way or Europe's that way. And then I didn't really know what Europe was. I thought Europe was like probably a country at first. Like, you know, okay, I thought it was like, oh, I'm going to Europe, you know. Yeah. But I didn't understand like, oh shit, like Europe is the fucking entire thing, you know. But yeah, so I think that really, really blew my mind. Another place is when I went to Germany for the first time too. And yeah, I think Germany was super dope because like when I went to Germany, I was expecting it to be super German, but then I ended up going to Nuremberg, and it was like a lot of Turkish people and stuff. So I was like, oh shit, like it's more than just like German people here, which was cool. Went to the Oktoberfest, and that was freaking crazy. Like I didn't even know that it existed, but me and my boys went, and it was just mind blowing to see like 100,000 people in one area just drunk off their mind, and just like they were just like picking up everybody that was drunk and putting them on some hill, you know. So like yeah, man, just some crazy travels on the way too. Did the Day of the Dead festival was crazy in Guatemala, and they fly these kites that are like as big as this room, literally. And if they fly, it like honors the dead people. But if it doesn't fly, then it's like a curse. And they like fly these kites in a cemetery, so they're like on top of dead bodies, like flying a kite. So yeah, bro, like so many crazy travels that impacted me, man. Like, but I can't wait to go to Afghanistan though. That's somewhere that's been on my bucket list, and literally last night I got a new outfit. I forgot what it's called, but you know, like the one that the sheiks wear and stuff. Yeah, because I'm gonna go to the temple or the mosque in Abu Dhabi. And yeah, this guy was like freaking shocked that I told him that I was gonna go to Afghanistan because he was from Afghanistan, and he was like super duper geeked and stuff. So man, yeah, dude, I can't wait for that one, bro.
It's amazing, especially if you are a Westerner. I mean, they're very welcoming to us. You're right. It might be biased, but where it isn't in the world. So if you have the chance of going to a place like that, of course do it, right? I think anyways, with the travel experience you have, you definitely have achieved a lot more than most of the people that I at least know, just from traveling alone, which I think is the highest good you can get from like the living or moving around perspective. You just learn so much. I'd say I cannot even put in words like how much you learn. It's like not just the infos, but your personality changes by just understanding how the world works.
And observing, right? Yeah. Like, and that's what I tell people too. Like, for example, like when I go to France, I'll really learn etiquette, right? Because they like pay attention to all the small details, like where you put your fork, or like they greet each other when they talk bon appetit or something. And then freaking when you go to Germany, you learn order. Like exactly. You literally learn how to put things in order.
And try to sit in Germany on a table and let someone serve you from the family. It's not gonna happen that easily, no. In Pakistan, you just sit down. They sit you down. Right. You're not allowed to move anything. You just sit there and you just eat. That's all you do.
Eat.
It's crazy. Yeah, I love it.
Man. Indonesia taught me a lot of things too. Just like being one with nature and monkeys and stuff. Like I think that was pretty dope. And yeah, Bali was really interesting because like the people are just super duper happy all the time, and they're like really loving people. Like for example, like my gardener when I was in Bali, I remember like one day he was just like watering the grass for hours, and it's like raining, like pouring rain. I'm like, bro, you don't have to do that. And he's like, no, it's my job. And he's like happy watering the grass. In his mind, like he's just feeling like he's fulfilling his purpose, you know? So I think that's really beautiful. Like how you can learn so much from so many different cultures too, man.
Exactly. Yeah, everyone has their own purpose, right? And this is something that I also learned during my travel. Yeah. Only give advice to people that want advice. Right. If you see someone and they're happy, like your gardener, you don't need to change them or like tell them anything. You know, I've seen it many times that people not become jealous, but they see you have a different kind of lifestyle, so they obviously try to want to put it on themselves, and then they ask questions and for more advice. But if that advice if they don't really ask you for specific help, they will probably never implement it.
Yeah. And is there any advice that just comes to the top of your head that you've received from someone that has been like stuck with you for so long? Like in particular, like for example, what just came to my mind was one day I was editing. So I was editing videos. I used to edit for this guy named Eric Thomas, motivational speaker. And I edited for a whole bunch of people, bro. Like I was even a movie editor. That was like my background. Okay. Yeah. But I was basically editing, and I thought I was a shit when I edited. I was like, dude, nobody's a better editor than me. That's just how I felt. And I remember showing my roommate, Anton, who was also an editor, and he was a beast too. But I showed him my edit, and he just looked at it, and he was like, you need to speed everything up. And I didn't see it. But literally that little piece of advice changed my entire editing and attention span seeking, content that I make even now by just making something like 1/10 of a second faster. So yeah, like, is there anything that comes to mind when it comes to like some piece of advice?
Yeah, first I love this one. Like this is awesome. Exactly, especially when you start out with editing. You like for me as well. I did YouTube videos in 2010. No idea what I'm doing. You just try and figure out, and this is exactly where it comes in. You connect with like-minded people. They tell you something cool, and you're like, wow, okay, I did this so long. How the heck did I do this for so long and like never noticed? Yeah, I mean for me, I had this one scenario that I really enjoyed during a conversation where I basically was told to not have so many things bother me. It's like small nuances. Sometimes things bother you. If someone sits next to you and he's sick, for example, he's coughing around, it's just nothing pleasant. But it depends on the way how you look at it. I just people just told me, or one specific person just told me that, yeah, they just live in their own world. They don't even understand that they do something bad, because I sometimes saw it as an insult, You stood next to me, you were coughing around. Why are you coughing around, Right. It's not a good thing. You make other people sick, right? It's kind of disrespectful in a certain way. Right. And from that I learned that people live in their very own world. They all have their very own beliefs, and they might be at a different level than I am or you are. So judging them on that is probably the wrong perspective. And that's when I really learned understanding that everyone has their very own life, and you should just focus on yours, because that's the only one that you can really control. And wherever you see other people, just try to give them support if they have any questions whatsoever, but accept them for who they are and don't judge them for something until you know their background story.
Yeah, everybody has a story, man. Especially even like the people you meet in Afghanistan has never traveled outside of Afghanistan. You can learn like some crazy thing from that person too. Yeah. Wow, dude, that's definitely a powerful one, bro.
Yeah, and I think this shaped me a lot. This really like helped me to go out there, make better connections as well, because you don't feel judged. And it's the same scenario with Montenegro. If someone looks at you mad, you automatically judge them, right? If you get over that fear, it's like the world is open. We can do whatever.
Damn. So that's the nugget right there. Tell anybody that has like these like freaking judgment issues, just fly to Montenegro, bro.
Exactly. Just fly out to Balkan and go crazy.
Damn. Okay, for sure, man. Cool.
For me, it would be really interesting to understand a bit more about your background story for your business and how that thing is going.
Man, so background story, I guess I can just do a little fast food version. But yeah, man, I started business when I was 16, and I started in network marketing. I don't know, like, that was, yeah, like network marketing. We were slinging energy drinks, bro. And that's what actually took me to Germany. But yeah, we were just selling energy drinks technically, but really we were just selling a dream. Like, we were like, hey, if you want to be rich when you're 18 years old, this is what you have to do, like sell this drink. But yeah, I actually like found some success there and got money enough to travel and like see the world and stuff like that. Meet a lot of interesting people doing that. That got me into videography because I started to seek out mentorship. And I think that's one thing that I learned too from people. Just say like, if you see someone doing what you want to be doing, go learn from them. So I picked up a camera, and that allowed me to shadow a lot of these guys in the space. And I think that got me into video editing, became a video editor. From video editing, I learned about technology because I was always trying to figure out how to stay ahead of the curve. I think that's where we're similar, right? When it comes to just trying to understand what's going on, right? And yeah, I was in the crypto space, tried every type of business model on earth, tried to make YouTube videos, but I couldn't like center my focus. But I noticed one thing that I was really good at is taking notes. Like, I was an avid note taker, bro. Like, I would just write it down on pieces of paper, and then I wanted to do it on the computer, but I still couldn't find my notes, and it was so irritating. And this was before like Apple Notes and a lot of the note-taking apps even had like a very powerful search function. But yeah, man, I made like a brain form on a platform called Obsidian.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to mention Obsidian.
Yeah, bro, Obsidian's
sure.
sick,
your
dude.
Platform.
Yeah, bro, I love Obsidian because it's like a lot of coders know about it too. Yeah. But yeah, it's really technical. But Obsidian allowed me to do so many things, like basically make this 3D brain that I can look at. Then once I made it, I was like, this is pretty cool. Like, I can show other people. It was another creator that was creating brains also, so we kind of teamed up, and I started to create these brains for people, and I was like, I can do it for an entire company. And yeah, the problem was I had to find all the data on the company online, so it would take a lot of time, right? But then I started to run into these AI tools, and this was before AI was really like a thing, and it was letting me do this faster. So once I'm on these tools and I started to talk about it, then all of a sudden I just found myself in the AI space because I was literally one of the only people talking about AI at the time, on Instagram and stuff, which was dope. And yeah, I think that I saw a huge opportunity there because I saw it coming and knew that it was going to be huge, right? So I was like, okay, how could I educate the everyday person? So I started to talk about AI for everyday use. And then I started to go more into detail when it comes to AI automation, like you were saying, like how do you automate things? Because when it comes to business, you got to be solving a problem, right? Like, of course. So the problem that I wanted to solve was just like the ease of use. And now I'm at the point to when it comes to AI, it's so simple to figure out what the problem is in a company and find a solution. Like, for example, like, let's just say your business model. It's so easy to use AI to figure out what's going on in your business and see how you can be generating $100,000 a month, because a lot of people can't even fathom that number, and then just almost copy and paste it into another business. And I think one of the biggest tips that I got when it comes to business and even in the AI space is that you can be trying to grow a business and set goals, right? Like you can keep trying to set goals, but goals won't get you there. It's really systems. You have to like implement and automate a system. So for me, that's just my business model now, just implementing and automating systems in people's businesses. So yeah, that's my focus, and it's going to stay.
Inform people about that. Like how you make them clear that if you tell them a number of, they can just make like 500K a month, so if they implement this and this automations. Right. How do you make them grasp that? Because I know it sounds like crazy, like you're gonna scam them.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's like a really hard part, actually.
That's a great question. Yeah, so, and it was hard at first, but then I found like mural boards and just visual ways to show them, right? So I literally showed them the screenshots of exactly the exact funnel somebody makes. So let's just use someone everybody might know, like Andrew Tate. Like, this dude's huge, right? But we literally put his funnel, like his exact funnel, and I've got this guy named Simon too, who's amazing. He's amazing at building these funnels. But we basically show every single step of Andrew Tate's funnel, to how he funnels people to his landing page. What landing page message do you get or you receive? What happens if you click off of the website? What's the message you get? So we literally break this down for about 30 minutes to an hour, the exact words he used, the exact emails he sends, the exact text messages he sends, like every single detail. And when you show someone that, the people have just only one question in their mind. They're like, okay, how much does it cost?
Yeah.
Like how much does it cost for me to do it? Or like, cause we can show people how to do it themselves. So I make courses on showing them exactly how they can create someone's funnel, or you can hire our team to go ahead and build it for you. So we're all about systems. So it's Circle Systems. So Circle's my company, and we put systems in people's businesses. So that's my entire focus when it comes to AI space, just using AI to build a system efficiently and fix the holes when it comes to people's businesses. Because a lot of times it's like they've already got some existing system and they're just wondering why they're not making more money, or they're wondering, do they need to hire more assistants, or, do they need to just change their job in general, because maybe it's just they're only making, I don't know, $500 a month or whatever it is, or maybe they're not making anything, but it's just the system that they need to implement. And as soon as they change that one thing, everything changes in their business, man.
And how often would you say is those kind of tasks repetitive?
Every day, like every day.
Okay. Yeah. So it's mostly the same kind of thing for...
Exactly. For almost tons of businesses. Like say if you're in the coaching space, it's all repetitive. Like what you're doing, someone else is doing. And as soon as you just implement this one little, I don't know, funnel or VSL in your business, then everything just changes. So most things are just repetitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Interesting. So would you say you already work with businesses that are more established, or even the ones that, I don't know, are in the beginning and they don't really understand how to grasp it?
Yeah, I like working with established businesses, but I think my favorite is working with businesses that are not making any revenue, because it's fun. It's like, all right, this person's belief level is like not there, right? But then as soon as they see someone doing exactly what they want to be doing and they see exactly how to do it, their belief level goes to the roof. And it's almost like I don't have to do much, because I think a lot of times when it comes to business too, it's just a belief, right? Like I know you see that in your business and personal life and even travel, right? Like, and I tell people, like, if you have been to McDonald's before, right? And I tell you, oh, let's go to McDonald's right now. You probably believe that we can go to McDonald's. But if I say something like, okay, let's book a flight to Dubai right now and jump on a yacht, the belief level might be smaller because they've never done it before and they've never seen how. They don't have the roadmap to how to do it. So my mission and my goal is just to like make that roadmap very clear to where their belief level goes up. Yeah, man.
100%. I love that. That is awesome. Yeah. I think it's what everyone needs, and what especially helps us, to stay motivated, because we see something grow from ground up. Yeah. That's exactly what I love. It's the same thing.
See something grow from ground up, man. And then that's why I'm excited about this space too, and partnering with more people in the mafia, because that's all we're doing, bro. We're literally leading the revolution to help people stay up to date and not get left behind. Because I know you probably heard this before, but it's not like AI that's replacing people's job. It's the people using AI, right?
Exactly.
So I'm just here to train the
it's
army,
just enhancing your existing stuff just with AI and just make it smarter and better. Exactly. Yeah, but I fully agree. Like with AI mafia stuff specifically, the more of those experts we get in the market, the bigger of the share we have to actually like make a massive difference. Yeah. And it's already happening, right? It's already there, which is insanely awesome.
Yeah, bro. So like, I've got to ask, like, with all of your knowledge when it comes to the AI space and stuff like that, like, how does someone get started? You know, because I've got a community, I've got a free school community, then I've got a paid community. But a lot of people in my free school community, they always are hesitant or try to figure out how to start, but they get turned off because they're like, well, people buy what I have, or, you know, how do you find your first clients, or how do you set up this thing? Like, where do you think the starting line is for the person?
Yeah. I'd say probably just do research on the AI topics that interest you the most, and then find something where you personally see value in it. And with that, I really mean personally in the first place, because you're going to have to stick with that for a while, right? So it's going to be part of your life for quite some time. And then just learn more about it until you actually mastered it, and then just stick to it. I think consistency is probably the most important thing you can do. Because I've seen that with my channel, right? Once you actually start picking up one topic and you understand that, and you can make content about it and teach other people, for example, that is awesome, right? Or even if you niche down and you can create a software or an automation out of a tool that most people don't even really understand, you already have something that you can sell over, because what people in the AI space mostly value, or people that would like to implement AI, is time, right? They don't want to learn how to do that or how to implement that. So what you basically sell is you sell them saving time. Yeah. And if you have that in mind and you research a tool that you think is valuable and where maybe you even see yourself, you know, you can save some time with it, that's something you can sell. If you sell the time saving part, the rest will literally just kind of follow from the lead perspective, which I think is probably one of the most complex parts in the beginning, figuring out leads. Yeah. But if you save someone time with the task that is important to them, you really easily have customers and clients.
And I think that's good to touch on too. Like, even for you, like on YouTube, you don't have like 1 billion subscribers, but you still have clients coming in from, and how many, like, what are you at now? Like around on YouTube? No, on YouTube, like subscribers.
We have around like 3,800.
3,800. And how often do you get like book a call, would you say, from YouTube?
It's like per day, maybe like 5 6. I'm not sure, something like this. Yeah, but that's because we're in that space, and I literally sat down for 2 months and I was non-stop learning about the things I'm doing right now. So you have a big investment in the beginning, but like I said, if that is something that people value and they can actually implement and use, there's like no limit. Even with like 3,800 subscribers, which is less than what I had in 2010 when I was making videos, you still get like tons of leads, because I make now content about the right stuff, right? And I think, if you figure that out, finding a problem, and you can save time on that and can save the time saving part to others, and you market it as their pain point, you will get tons of clients.
Dude, that's just like the biggest, what's it called? The biggest example right there, bro. Like, if you're telling people like, okay, I've got 3,000 something subscribers, but I've got like this infinite money button now. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude, that's huge, man.
Yeah, there's more than you can handle, for sure. Yeah. If you do it right, you will get more leads than you can handle. Then you just pick whatever is best and you try to refine an offer, which is then probably the next step. Yeah. And then just,
But okay, so you mentioned consistency. Like, consistency is huge. But then also, like, I know that when you're like a business, it's a whole bunch of things that come into it. Like, you've got to learn how to manage people. You've got to learn how to, you know, what else would you say other than consistency that's like been huge when it comes to someone starting off?
Yeah, I mean, obviously being on the legal side when you do something, it's super important. Governments love money, and if you try to evade something or avoid paying taxes or whatsoever, they're gonna come after you, and that's not gonna be fun. Yeah. So being legal from the beginning is one of the most important things. And I'd say if you have maybe like 1 or 2 clients that pay you a couple of $100s a month, you might not even be on their radar, because it's like usually less than what they look at. Obviously, I'm still a big fan of keeping it clean. So if I would be starting out from scratch, I would probably set up another US LLC. There are really great states that you can do that, and you can do that for like $500 a year. So it's incredibly cheap, right? $500 a year, that's less than one client you probably charge if you sell some high-ticket stuff.
But like, when you set this up in America, like, are you paying taxes? Like, are you paying, let's just say, how much taxes do you pay, for example, in America? Like, if you make $100,000 with your US LLC, what are you paying in taxes being European?
It depends what you sell, and because if you sell licensed stuff, for example, you pay state taxes and you pay as well, like I think 30% in the US in some way. Yeah. If you don't do that and you have services, there are many ways in states where you don't need to pay anything, at least from a corporate perspective, which still doesn't mean that you need to pay like income tax. Obviously, that depends wherever you reside. So if you're in Germany, that's going to be anywhere probably between like 30 and 40%, maybe even more if you make really good money. So from the company side, you can get it most likely tax-free if you work in the AI automation space, if you set it up properly. But yeah, income tax depends where you live. And obviously, if you're from the US, you have to pay taxes wherever you are. It's, I think, a disadvantage, but yeah.
Sick, dude. Yeah, man. Like that's huge. Like for me, taxes has always been the thing.
Yeah, I think it's for all of us. Yeah.
Yeah, for all of us.
It's a big pain point, right? Anyone needs to deal with it. The world is changing. We always have to adapt to new rules as well. But that's part of business. And if you do well, you just outsource that. Yeah. You just have someone else take care of that. It's actually good in it, so that you can focus on whatever you are best in.
And do you have anything for beginners? Like, for example, like let's just say someone that wants to learn from you. Would you say just to follow you on YouTube, or what do you think?
Yeah, probably. I think in the very beginning, follow me on YouTube. Check out Liam Otley. Yeah. Amazing dude. I think like he does just awesome content specifically for beginners. Yeah. My stuff is more for voice space. So if anyone is in the voice space, that is great for them. But yeah, in general, I would say use ChatGPT, use YouTube for your advantage, use Perplexity AI, just ask questions. It will spit you out the exact answer, and you can just continue researching from there. Yeah, my name is Jannis Moore on YouTube, JANNIS MOORE. Pretty simple. You can find me there, and obviously we have a website. My agency is called Integraticus, where we also do some other automation stuff, so that is another possibility. And yeah, I'm obviously as well on LinkedIn and Instagram.
So like, what's your plan too? Like, do you plan on just expanding when it comes to YouTube? Like, are you pushing out consistent videos? Like, what's your thing?
Yeah, I'm pretty consistent. I had a bit of a downtime this week so far because we just got so many clients and leads that I had to restructure stuff and set up new structures, basically employ someone else who can help us out now. But apart from that, yeah, I mean, the whole lead game is something that I actually didn't even want it in the beginning. Like, I wanted to make videos to show off my authority. That was the main point, right? I built up softwares in the automation space for 7 years. So I have tons of experience, and I just wanted to share that with people. So now we're at the point where we say, yeah, we have tons of leads coming in, and I can actually make an impact and help them. That's when I decided, okay, yeah, let's just do that partially. And since around 3 months now, I'm basically building up this new SaaS tool. So I'd say YouTube is still just a thing I love to do. I love to educate people. I love to bring out new content that others can use.